This is another edition, a nonfiction edition of Wordy Screencast. We've gone over numbers and stats, quoted words. We're going to add a third one, contrasts and contradictions, which we did have with fiction. If you remember, it was the opposite of what we would expect to happen, or the opposite contrast between the way a character used to act and the way they might act now. Nonfiction, we have contrasts and contradictions too. What you do is you note a difference between what you know and what happens next in the text, or what happens in the text, or a difference between two or more items in the text. Come across it, you want to ask yourself, what is the difference and why does it matter? In the words of The Rock, it does matter. Anyway, so you're going to want to write this down. Contrast contradictions can help the reader make comparisons, figure out cause and effect relationships, find a central main idea, find the supporting evidence, make inferences, make generalizations. This is huge. So you should jot that down. And finally, how do I know if I find a contrast contradiction? Sometimes you will not include these words, but oftentimes these signal words will let you know there's a difference here. There's a contrast. Yet, however, but, unlike, opposed to, instead, although, even though, on the contrary, on the other hand, otherwise. Right. These actually can also be transitional words in your writing. So contrasting transitional words, I definitely want you to write these down. How's it work? All right. Even though the temperature dipped below 32 degrees, the water did not freeze. Now there's two things. One is we have numbers. Another is, this is a surprise because why? We dip below 32 degrees, the water did not freeze, even though it lets me know this is also a contrast. So even if it didn't surprise you, because maybe you don't know it, water should freeze below 32 degrees, even though it'll tip you off. So you ask yourself, what's the difference and why does it matter? Well, the difference is we would expect it to freeze. It didn't. What's going on? Why didn't it freeze? I need to know more. So that's a connotation you might want to make. So just remember, you want to note the difference between what you know, what happens in the text, the difference between two or more items in the text. Ask yourself, what's the difference and why does it matter? Contrast, contradictions. Wordy out.